Welcome to the Joy of Paintball. I'm Clint Riddle, an artist and paintball enthusiast, and this is a show where we discuss art, paintball, and much, much more. Today, I have Colt Roberts on to discuss a piece of artwork that he recently commissioned. He's a professional paintball player for San Antonio X Factor, and he's an avid supporter of the arts. Come along as we discuss my process for making paintings, some of our musical preferences, ancient civilizations, and everything in between. This is the Joy of Paintball. So, we're live now, or we're...
Yep.
I don't know.
All right, hot mic.
All right, man. So, I'm Clint Riddle, and this is Colt Roberts. Everyone knows Colt Roberts. He's been in the game for a while, and he's been at the top of the game for a long time. So what I've done, Colt actually commissioned me to make a painting, and it was the best kind of commission because it was dealer's choice, I think is how he put it. So I got to make whatever I wanted, and we'll actually look at that here in a little bit and my whole process with that. But today is just about just having a conversation and seeing what comes of it. Before we were talking about D&D and the supreme nerd factor that comes with paintball. And before I talk too much, I just would like to hear what the nerd factor of the pro level is for paintball.
It's hard to say. There's all sorts of different walks of life. A lot of video gamers, like Ronnie Dizon's very good at some first-person shooter games. Alex Borromeo is good at first-person shooter games. Graham Arnold, Justin Rabikoff. I play quite a bit with Justin and Brandon Rabikoff, and we played a lot of League of Legends and various things. So, I think there's a lot of closet nerds in there, probably some that I don't know about, but it is definitely part of the competitive and mindset of a paintball player. I think translates very well into video games.
Yeah,
so I seems to seem like a lot of players do play video games as well as play paintball.
Yeah, right on. I love that crossover. I know, so my experience in high school was sports. I was like the jock guy, but I was also an art nerd. And then when I get to college, when I got to college, that's where I really began paintball, and it was with the UNT team, and it was all band kids, which I kind of think whatever the marching thing is, I think there's a crossover with gun while you're running and shooting.
Really?
Yeah.
So marching band translates into paintball skill. Okay.
Maybe. I don't like.
Were you guys good?
No. We were for Texas. We were good. We got to. I don't know if you remember Adrenaline Zone.
Yeah, I do.
We played there a lot, and so we'd run into Justice League every now and then, and we, as far as college players go, we were good. Yeah, I remember. Dusty Odell would be out there all the time, and he was like,
good old Dusty.
Yeah, he went to UNT and he wanted to sort of hop on the team, and I was like, we can't give you the treatment you get from the Russians, man. I don't know. So,
Russians. Dusty didn't play for the Russians. He played for X Factor.
I know, but he told stories of doing European tournaments and.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's that those days have kind of passed, but back in the day, you used to get all the European teams wanted pro American players to come over and play for them, so they would pay your way, room and board, go out and party, have fun. It was cool, but those days are kind of past now.
Sadly, did I see that you're going to France?
I am. Yep. I'm gonna play on the Masters team, the old man team. Yeah, we got a nasty squad though. It's like Greenspan, Frazier, Yosh. Yeah. All current NXL players. So it'll be fun. I've played against those guys for a long time, and to be on the same team will be interesting.
It should be called the Sensei team.
I hope so. I hope we do good. I mean, all the pressure's on us.
Yeah.
All the pressure's on us, but that's okay.
Well, you guys are going to destroy. You're going to destroy.
I hope so. I think so.
If not, you'll at least look good.
That's right.
Whatever.
We'll have fun. We'll be in France playing paintball, so I mean, it'll be a good time either way.
Yeah. All right. Let's. I'm gonna throw this up just to sort of start moving in that direction. If you have any questions, feel free to just cut me off. Hey, man, you're talking too much.
No. Tell us about the medium you're using here, though, and kind of the technique.
Yours, I worked with oil paint, and to start off, I like sketched it out because it was so like there were some things that really needed to be precise,
Right.
uh, especially with like jersey uh, logos and whatnot. So I kind of gridded it off and started sketching it out, and then right now I'm applying a underpainting, and that's just further mapping out. So uh, getting to understand the values or the contrast of the painting and how certain things will
Right.
fit there. But yeah, once this is through, I'll start applying color, and I just kind of work. If you can take the flat image and just sort of think of it as space, like three-dimensional space, and I start with the stuff that is as far away from me, and then move forward. So like
Okay.
the blue sky, and then the clouds in front of that, so on and so forth, and that's relatively common practice. But you can always go back and make adjustments wherever. But
And what was
yeah,
your
man.
inspiration here? Since I did tell you dealer's choice, which is what I also do at restaurants. Any nice restaurant I go to, I always let the waiter pick whatever dish I'm gonna have.
That's the baller move, man. Yeah, so I follow a whole bunch of artists actually. So my inspiration comes from uh, anyone that that gets my attention. Like I study art, I teach art at the high school level, so I'm like always around it. The artist that inspired the background is a guy named Mark. I'm gonna mess it up. It's French.
Okay.
Maggiore, but he's on Instagram and he just does these incredible Western paintings, which is kind of something about the fact that he like moved here from Europe and just fell in love with the Western landscape. That
Gotcha.
inspired that, and I know you like I've done several pieces about you and for you, and I know that you're like a Texan through and through. So I knew it had to be like Western, and the red dirt that was flying up in Pennsylvania, golly, 3 or 4 years ago. I was
Yep.
like, something about that dust was really cool, and I
Not to
gotta,
plan though.
yeah, I bet. I can't imagine. um, and then yeah, like like
Yeah, I actually
this.
I had one of your pieces, this one on my wall here.
Oh
You see that?
yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
got it framed up here.
that's
That
dope.
was the first one you did. Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, that was. I still have the. Yeah, thank you. By the way, you sent me a jersey, one of your Colt 45 jerseys. That was very generous.
And
I
that's
did
the
not.
least I could do.
Nah, man, that was super cool. Um, but yeah, so I think I've titled this piece. If and you don't have to keep the title, but I just something about it. I called it "Cool Hand Colt," just sort of a play on
Oh,
like the Clint
I love it.
Eastwood western, and
Yeah.
uh, something about the swagger or the walk that you got going in this photo. I was like, yeah, this is like western territory as far as like spaghetti western almost.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
love it. No, you're the artist. You can name it whatever you want. I'll definitely keep it.
yeah, so
How long does a piece like this generally take you to do?
uh, if I'm only counting working, I think there's at least 20 hours in this. It gets like you'll see me. I don't have it what the actual tool, but it's called a maul stick or mauling beam, but it's a stick that you can hold
Okay.
across the canvas so that you can rest your hand on there and do fine details. That takes a lot of time. I've got it somewhere, but I was playing with different landscapes and different photos of you and different fields and just sort of like blending them all together in Photoshop before this and all that.
Where are we at here? Oh, this is when you're on
Oh,
vacation, right?
yeah, yeah. So I'm lucky enough I got to go to Angel Fire for a couple weeks in the summer and get out of this ridiculous heat.
I know, it's been
Uh,
crazy.
yeah. Um, let's see. Yeah. So I just set up outside because had like it was at most like 83 degrees,
Oh yeah, it's
and
beautiful.
and
It's like
yeah,
air conditioning for us.
yeah. So
Hey, did I see you're about to do some sort of hormesis thing? What was that? You threw a little teaser out there the other day. What's going on there? You got a commission going on?
I
Oh, you
threw a
can't talk
teaser
about it.
out.
I thought you did.
There's
Oh,
another.
oops. Was I not supposed to say that?
No, it's all good. They haven't told me that I have to keep anything secret, but I don't have
Okay. Well, you
anything.
put something on your Instagram.
Okay.
You said there was something. There's something like more to come, or say you alluded to the fact that there was some sort of collab.
Oh.
That's all I saw.
Oh. Okay. I do have another.
Is this news to you?
uh, no. Yeah.
Th-
Well, I
Did I
do have.
read into something here?
Maybe you're not projecting. You're speaking something into
Assuming.
existence. No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No. I've got. They're super nice. And they've commissioned a lot of things. So I have another commission that I'm doing for them for oh gosh, Skinny Kevin.
Oh,
So
really? Okay,
yeah,
that'll be interesting.
yeah. Well, I'll lean on the coaching aspect of it because I don't know if there's a whole bunch of footage of him playing out there. I'm kind of like, uh,
He's old school, old school. He was like
yeah,
playing when I was coming up.
yeah,
The only thing I remember about Skinny is like, 8 foot tall, 100 pounds with 40 pods on his back. That's
yeah.
like the vision in my head I remember of Skinny Kevin, just like a shit
He's
ton of pods in his back and a skinny guy walking out there in a Dynasty jersey.
yeah, but that should be interesting. We'll see how that one goes.
Have you gotten a
Uh,
lot of are you doing quite a few commissions?
Hormesis has been most of it.
Okay.
I got several from Quinn from Iconic. He was kind of
Hmm.
well, yeah. So those are all like digital ones. But as far as like, I guess you'd say traditional like painting ones, I'll get a few here and there. But most of it is like things that I want to do. So
I
like,
feel like give me your take on that because I'm like I have artwork all over my house. I love art. I've always been like a collector of art, but I'm a traditional art kind of guy. What's your take on the digital and the way stuff's moving? Do you think that some of the feel and passion is lost in the digital form, or do you feel like it translates and it's just the new way of doing things? Like, what's your thought?
I think kind of like eye of the beholder. Uh,
Yeah,
Me personally, there's aspects of like AI stuff where I'm like, cool. Like it's cool that
yeah,
someone made that program that does all this,
right,
but I want to give them
right,
credit. I don't want to give the computer credit because all the
right,
computer's really doing is, which you can make this argument for humans too, I guess, but all the computer's really doing is stealing. Like just or not. It's
right.
so yeah. This is a weird. Like I don't
Emulizing.
know officially how I feel about it.
Okay,
It's impressive what it can do, but
sure.
I'm not moved by the artwork.
So you feel
But
it's lost some of the passion to it. It's kind of like electronic music, right? Like a lot of people like, and I'm the same way now. I don't particularly care for electronic music.
yeah,
It's cool. I'll listen to some of it, but to me, it's like I listen to stuff from like the '60s, and you just hear the soul and like Motown and the old rock and roll and all the, and it's like, man, like they just don't make music like that anymore. That stuff is timeless. Like it was cool
yeah,
when my parents were kids. It's cool now, and it's cool forever. And I just feel like dubstep was cool for a couple years, and then like that faded out, and you know what I mean. Like it's just like that
yeah,
stuff. When you hear it a few times, it's like cool, and then when you've heard it for the 10th time, it just kind of grinds your gears, in my opinion. I'm just like, man, I'm tired of this song already.
yeah, yeah.
But you hear a Temptation song a million times, and it's like it's just as good as the first time I heard it. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
something. There's something
Yeah,
about the soul in it, and I feel
I
like
think
artwork to me is the same kind of thing.
nice. Yeah, I think there's like with painting in a traditional sense, you'll see uh the brush strokes or maybe even like a fingerprint or some aspect of the human
Right,
contribution. And
right.
it something about that like makes people spend a little bit more time with it usually. There's really great
Yeah,
digital art out there that really makes me. I like stuff that makes me think and like makes me ask sort of like a existential question. Like, And then I like stupid funny stuff too. So it just it all depends. But uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's I do think like I wonder if I would have the same feelings towards. I'm with you. I like. I know I'm going to aggravate people. Human made music. So something
Yeah.
where
No, I'm
they're
with you.
playing a traditional
An
instrument.
instrument.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. I appreciate the electrical or the electronic stuff, and I know it's not easy. I'm not trying to like belittle
Hmm.
that. I think
Sure.
just the understanding of so you're taking like something that has mastered how to play a certain tune. So if I play an electronic keyboard, it plays that tune, or even like a yeah, any electronic device, I can make it
Right.
play it exactly how I want it to
Yeah.
every single
Perfect every
time.
time.
And
Hmm.
all I have to do, I really don't even, I have to hit like one button and it can start. I know that's not how it always goes, but, um, and whereas I'm a huge guitar like person, I grew up on blues guitar. So hearing people like make something that they've played thousands of times and make it their own every single time or make it unique every single time, there's something really
Hmm.
cool about that to me. And
Yeah.
I'm I don't want to say that that doesn't happen with electronic music. I do think if I was like at a show where there's a bunch of people who like that type of music or like and I'm involved in that synergy, like I think I would build a new appreciation for it. But right
Yeah. But do
now,
you think that's I feel like that's more enjoying the experience. You know what I mean? It's the light show, it's the ambiance, it's the atmosphere, as
mhm,
opposed to you know the actual music. And I feel that, and I'm pretty sure there's been studies done that it's the imperfections in things that honestly make people enjoy things a little bit more. The slight imperfections and nuances in music and people's looks and all these types of things that make it attractive.
yeah,
And that's at least it for me. Like you said, having that human element in it, and not a perfect uh you know beat or tune every time. You get that variance and that change in it, and to me that's what's exciting.
yeah, I totally agree. That's like even like you take a band you like, the Temptation, can't see him anymore, but the Temptations, and then you
I did
compare
see
that.
Smokey Robinson, FYI,
No
and he was
way.
fantastic. Yeah, like 3 years ago. And he
Shit.
was old and he killed it. I mean, absolutely just
Oh
killed it.
yeah, he's like
Unbelievable.
seasoned. He knows like yeah. So you mentioned something about like nuances and like intricacies that maybe it's not perfect, but it is something that draws attention. I'd like to sort of
Correct.
uh, bring us back, if you don't mind, a little bit to paintball,
Sure.
because I wonder
Okay.
about this from a pro perspective. Do you have people whose little nuances and things you see that just sort of like wow you? For example, I look at certain artists like the one I mentioned, Mark Maggiore, or Van Gogh or someone, and I'm like, man, like I'll never reach that. Whatever they did is amazing, and that like I don't know how I'll get there. At your point in your career, do you see something like that still in other players?
Um, I don't think so much that I look at it as like I'll never get there, but I definitely do respect and enjoy watching other people perform their craft.
Yeah,
So yeah, but I don't. I'm not, and even in normal life, I'm not much of a. I'm gonna compare myself to anyone. It's just never been in my DNA to say like, I'm not as good an artist as Clint. I mean, obviously, I'm not as good an artist as you. But if I painted a painting, I wouldn't look at it and then put it next to the one you did and be like, man, I suck and he's awesome. You know what I mean? I just
yeah,
be like, this
yeah,
is my capability. This is as good as I can do, and I'll appreciate what you can do. And maybe some people don't like your art. Maybe some people like my art better than yours, even though everybody in the world knows it's not as good. You know what I mean? It's like
well,
it's all from a
yeah,
perspective, right? It's all
right
from
on.
whatever lens you're looking at it from. So yes, I do appreciate the craft and the ability that a lot of these guys have. But I have that appreciation for the divisional guys that I coach. I'll see stuff and I'm just like, God damn, that was good. Like,
Yeah,
excellent job. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's awesome.
And but it's not from a position of envy. It's more of a position of appreciation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I just
yeah,
don't think that comparing what you do or what I do to something else doesn't make me any better. It
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's more of
dude,
a
that's
hindrance to me.
yeah, that sounds super healthy. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's because
yeah,
what you do is great, and and I
yeah,
like vanilla ice cream, and I like strawberry ice cream, and I like chocolate, and maybe I like one a little bit more than the others. But when it all comes down to it, I like ice cream, so
yeah,
I try and find the beauty in everything, and not so much be like, man, I wish I had vanilla instead of chocolate. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's fucking ice cream. It's always good.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I may have slight preferences or things that I enjoy a little bit more, but all in all, I just try and grab the positive out of every situation.
Speaking of, there seems to be a recurrence of positivity coming out of you. I did some research,
Okay.
and I know you have. I don't know if you'd call paintball kumite philanthropy. I would, because you're giving back to the community. But I also noticed something like, what can you tell me about Ferrari Kids and what it what place it holds in your life?
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I am 100% for helping out those in need and doing nice things. Now, paintball kumite is it philanthropic? Maybe. It's a service provided that most people wouldn't have access to for a very affordable price.
Yeah.
In the same respect, the way that I look at it is I only have so many weekends that I'm not playing paintball myself. I
Hmm.
work full-time job. I do jujitsu 3 nights a week. I have no time. So if I'm going to dedicate a weekend to go do something like coach or things of that nature, I expect to be compensated for my time and expertise
Yeah.
for a fair wage. I'm not trying to get
I
rich
think it's
off of
more
it.
than fair from what I hear.
Yeah,
So,
it's very fair and very affordable, and it's something where I'll walk out of there and be like, I just spent 4 hours of my day on a weekend that I had off,
hmm,
but at least I made a little something out of it, to where it's like it just kind of like makes me feel better about it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, Now, as far as Ferrari Kids, so what that is Ferrari Kids is a group of Ferrari owners, and I don't own a Ferrari, not that rich,
Mhm.
but what they do is they'll take terminally ill children for rides in Ferraris around town. So it's a bunch of rich dudes in San Antonio that own these nice cars, and it's a charitable organization. And the way that I was involved with it is a good buddy of mine, Brian Hutchinson, owns a company called Vault Auto Services. And what they do is they store very high end Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsches, all these very nice cars. He stores there and keeps them maintained and run for all these rich people that travel. And then he'll ship them out to wherever they are in the country if they want their car.
Oh, that's
And so
cool.
he's very involved in like the Ferrari of San Antonio and all that organization. And that's how he invited me to go to it. And so,
Nice.
obviously I went, they have silent auction, all that stuff. And I actually bought a couple pieces of artwork there um, that all
Yeah.
the proceeds go to the kids. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I love charity. And for several years, I went up to Minnesota for it's called the Challenge for Children's. And that was a children's hospital in Minnesota that was specialized in pediatric cardiovascular care. So kids that needed heart transplants or
Hmm.
bypasses or whatever they needed for heart. Um, so I would go up there every year and I would host the scenario game. I'd be one of the generals and I did that for multiple years
Oh, that's
for one of the
dope.
teams. It was super cool. And the guy that did it, his name is Matt Ames. Funny enough, Matt Ames and Trevor Pearson used to be the stat guys for the Russian Legion when the Russian Legion were the shit. Like when they
Yeah.
were at the top of the game, they had multiple stat guys that kept stats and analytics for all the games, opposing teams, etc. And that's how I knew Trevor and Matt. Well, Matt was a patient at Children's Hospital of Minnesota because
No
he
way.
had heart issues. Yeah. And
Oh,
so
that's
he
so
did this
cool. Like,
whole paintball
yeah.
game to raise money for the children's hospital, and
Oh,
he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, you want to come up?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll come." So they would buy my ticket out there, and then that's all I expected. Obviously, I didn't take any money, but they would just fly me out there, and I would host a game. We'd have fun,
that's
and
dope, man.
yeah, we every year we raise like over $100,000 for the children's hospital
Are you
just off
fucking
paintball
serious?
and charity auctions. Yeah, oh yeah,
This stuff,
which is super
this
cool.
stuff, just like paintball stories like this come out of the woodworks all the time, and I'm,
Yeah.
I'm, I'm a sucker for that type of stuff. I love it. Like, I get
Well,
all
what your
mushy
son
about it.
has an issue too, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he has a form of muscular dystrophy called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So
Okay.
anytime you see fuck DMD on my
Yeah, I was wondering what that is. So what
Instagram,
is that?
that's
Tell me
it's
about that.
so it is. I'm gonna forget everything on the spot, but our muscles have healing abilities essentially. So whenever we build muscle and like
Hmm.
sort of like essentially we're tearing our tissue
Right.
and then it
Right. And then it
heals.
rebuilds
Yeah,
stronger. Right.
and it's dystrophin. That's what it's called. That's what helps rebuild your muscles, and
Okay.
his does not rebuild. So the muscles he has is what he has. Uh, yeah. So it's
So does that limit? So if he exerts himself, does that mean he has unrecoverable muscle loss? Is that what happens?
I don't know
Or
about
is it just
muscle
stagnant?
loss. It's like
Okay.
stagnant. So
Okay.
it's not
Does it get worse or does it stay the
like
same?
well, he keeps growing, but his
Okay.
muscles don't. So yes, it
Okay.
gets worse. And your heart's a muscle, your lungs are a
Right.
muscle. So there's a lot of huge
Right.
concerns with that. But there's
Right.
there's hope. There's like
Yeah. Advancement in
CRISPR's taking
medicine.
off and all that. So yeah, we go in for a trial on Monday. So we'll see what's going
And
on with that. So
and that's what you're kind of stuck doing, right? It's like cuz it's all trial medication. It's all you're hoping for something
yeah,
that works.
yeah, and it's a weird the medical industry. Like you run into all sorts of things that you like hurdles that you have to go through, and it's like what the like why? I've told my friends several times like why is it so hard for my situation? Like people that are
Right.
going through situations like mine, like that should
Right.
be the easiest. Don't add stress to that. Like that's
Right.
like oh you want to get stitches for getting like whatever, like something that's totally healable. Like why isn't that something that's stuck in the loop? Maybe not stitches, but like
Tell me what you
anyway.
mean by they make it difficult. What do you mean by difficult?
So there, first off, there are so many people, so many organizations that make it that help you get over these hurdles. But like
Okay.
insurance, like there was a type of steroid that insurance would allow, but that type of
Mhm.
steroid adds a lot of weight, and weight means that he has to use more muscle. So there's this other
Yeah.
steroid that doesn't make him add weight and does the same thing, if not and even a little better. So let's do that medicine, and you have to like
But they won't cover that. You have to go
well,
do it.
they make you like, I'm sorry, like here's a letter from my neurologist telling you why this is happening, and they're like, well, we need another doctor to do that. I'm like, oh, okay, like,
One of their
and
doctors, I'm assuming.
yeah, and I don't know if
Such
that's
a sham.
like, I don't know if that's they've been burned before and they just what but it sucks that that's even a thing. Like,
Right.
I know ultimately people are trying to help, but it's like, come on, guys, like so. But we're surrounded by a lot of great people, and I don't know. Uh, did you ever see the movie Secondhand Lions?
I think my mom loves that movie. I don't know that I've seen it though, but she is raved about it. What? Tell me about it.
It's a great movie, and it's these two old brothers who some distant family like just drops a kid off at their door, and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna stay with you guys. I'll come back at the end of summer to pick him up." And so a bunch of life lessons come through this, but uh,
Okay.
at the end, one of the guys says this, like, people for the most part are good, and that's kind of stuck
Okay.
with me. Like even if something's going, like if you're getting treated weird from someone, like you gotta before you throw hate and all that, you got to think about like the context of is this it's worth my time? Where's this coming from? Like
Right.
all that.
Right.
So yeah, it's I don't know. I'm a big movie guy, so that one stuck with
I'll
me.
have to watch it. That's because that's a second recommendation.
Yeah, if your mom recommends it, I don't. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah. No, I just don't watch. I don't watch a lot of TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I video game in my spare time if I have spare time. Other than that, I try and do things. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I try and
yeah.
be doing things, so I don't get a whole lot of TV or movie time. And if I do, I watch like professional video game tournaments, which is even super nerdy, but whatever.
I think that
Oh, and
makes
there
sense.
was actually another there was another charity I forgot about that because it's been so long, but there was a charity called Lauren's Hope. So, do you know who Jackie Lawn is? She played for She's one of the players for Destiny. Maybe not. She played for Destiny for a long time.
Okay.
Um, but her little brother had something called and I think it was called Hunter syndrome.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly what it was, but it's a terminal illness that they're basically can't walk, can't feed themselves. They can't do anything, and they
Hmm.
usually die in their late teens, early 20s.
Hmm.
And so there was a tournament called Lawrence Hope that I also was a part of with B Youngs that we went out there and played this local tournament. We did that for multiple years too and raised
Hmm.
money for the Hunter Syndrome Foundation. So it's another cool one. So yeah, there is a lot of stories of that in paintball. You don't hear about them as much, but people have used it in a good way, and it's pretty cool. And I've
Yeah.
always tried to do as many of those things as I can. If I get invited, I'm in. You know what I mean?
Nice, man.
Yeah. What else you got for me?
The martial arts involved. Fun fact. I don't know
Hmm.
what degree you are, but we are both black belts in Taekwondo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
First Dan or first degree is all I made it to.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah. Same
and
here.
then I started playing paintball, and you know, it that just sucked up my whole life, and I quit doing that. But I've recently refound my passion in martial arts with jujitsu,
Yeah.
which, if you're a martial arts guy, dude, I will tell you that jujitsu, hands down, is the most effective and wild thing ever,
Yeah.
and I absolutely love it. And it is very difficult. Um, it's very foreign, as opposed to
Hmm.
being on your feet. I think innately you know how to punch and kick to some degree, and you can learn to improve those skills. But you have a natural affinity to, like, oh, I know how to throw a punch. I
Yeah.
know how to kick. I'm good with that. But when you get on the ground,
Yeah.
it's a whole nother world, man.
There's stuff
And
that
then
like yeah.
everything's off of feel and off of body positioning and how feeling somebody move and what they're doing, and like not using your eyes but other senses to determine your next position. It's like chess, really.
Yeah.
It's physical chess, which is, I love playing chess, and so that's just a super cool thing. Now I found Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was founded by the Gracie family.
Oh, nice.
Originally, jiu-jitsu is a Japanese art. One of the Japanese judokas, which is a judo practitioner, came over and showed um, jiu-jitsu as well to the Gracie family in Brazil, and it was developed by a guy named Elio Gracie, who was the smallest of the family and basically feeble, and they said that
Yeah.
he couldn't participate, so he wasn't one of the family fighters, right? So they're all training this Japanese jiu-jitsu, and he is the small weakling that is not allowed to train because they're afraid he's going to get hurt and all this. Well, this whole time that they're all training, he's watching and learning
Yeah.
and learning and
Yeah.
learning. Well, one day the instructors can't show up, and so he decides that he's going to teach class. Well,
Hmm.
this whole time that he's been watching, he's been thinking about improvements that he could make for his body type, right? Because he's
Yeah.
smaller and weaker than everybody. And so that's the origin of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is that, a smaller, more frail opponent can overpower or out technique, really is what it is, and
Yeah.
out leverage a much stronger, bigger opponent.
That's dope. I like that a lot.
It's cool.
That's
Yeah, I love it.
that's intense, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Being a martial artist, I think you would really enjoy it. I think you should look into it.
That's, I need to get back into something
What are
athletic.
you doing for
Anyways,
Yeah, what are you doing athletic
athletic
now? You said you were a jock. Now you're
push-ups.
not doing shit.
I
Yeah,
got
you used to
four
be a jock,
kids,
now you're an
man.
art nerd.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, come on.
I've been
Come
yeah.
on.
Every now and then I get to go play. That's cool, dude. I
Yeah,
went
that's
I
your
went
physical thing.
I went to the Hormesis one-on-one thing.
Did you play?
No, no.
Oh, one of my students played. He actually did
Yeah,
decent.
right on. With
Christian Smith. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
plays for the
yeah, yeah.
Titans.
Yeah, I know him.
I
Yeah,
th- yeah, I
he
think
did
he made
great.
it 2 rounds in or something. He
I think
played
he got
pretty
like
good.
third or fourth, like I think.
I don't know
But
what he
he was
finished, but I know he made it pretty well in there.
yeah, he was solid. So it was like him and Jeremy Zimmerman and Jakob,
Yep.
the other guy. I don't know his last name, but
Yeah, the guy that won it.
they were definitively the top three. And there's
Gotcha.
one other dude who got knocked out early, but for the most part, it was like those were the three to watch. So,
So
um,
why didn't any of the fit kids play? Were they not allowed to play?
I don't know. I'm not super close with the fit guys,
Okay.
but
Okay.
they were all refing. So I know they played the joust the day before, which is like the big, um, that's sort of like a just everyone come play, come check it out, and the duel is like the serious thing. So they were
Oh,
playing the
so
day
the joust
before.
is just a fun thing, like
Yeah,
a pickup game?
like
Okay.
JD was playing that, and a bunch of
Okay.
other folks who just show up for a good time.
Okay.
Dude, the Cooper kid, I don't know if you've seen this kid. He rocks the mohawk, and he's coming up. But he's legit, man. Like I
Who
think
does he
he
play
might
for?
knockout kids. I think. Um,
I don't think I know him.
but he's from this area, from the Waxahachie area, I guess. Or
Like
he
TKO, is that the name of the
TKO.
team?
Yeah. TKO.
Okay.
But
Interesting. I'll have to keep an eye on him.
he's
Is he a
yeah.
snake
Like
player?
uh, it's hard to tell from that. This was the first time I watched him play. They didn't really have a snake, so he made a lot of really
Oh,
like
I got you. Okay.
really smart decisions in this that you know 20-year-old guys don't know how to make, and like he's gonna be something if he sticks with it for sure.
There's a couple kids like that. There's a kid out of X Factor named Cameron that plays for a team called Jackpot. He's just a young little kid, and he is a stud, dude. He's just
Yeah,
so good. Yeah, he can barely hold his gun up. Barely, you know what I mean? He
yeah,
hasn't hit puberty. He is not a man at all by any means. He's a kid, and is just killing it. And it's like, man, once that dude gets some speed and muscle,
yeah,
and oh man,
dude,
because
that's
he's already
dope.
got the mental understanding of the game, and yeah, he's really good. So it's exciting to see some of these young kind of bright stars coming up.
Yeah, it is exciting. Like especially, I hear a lot of the vets talking like, I'd retire, but no one's taking my job. Like no one's coming to
100%.
get it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's the truth. That's the truth of it.
yeah,
That's the way it is. It's been that way for a long time, unfortunately. So
I
we'll
bet.
see.
Yeah. All right. Since we're on paintball, I did a little
Okay.
what you might call a deep dive, but I watched a video. It was your greatest moment, your Eclipse greatest moment video, and in that video,
Hmm.
you mentioned that X Factor's style of play was like you guys were a really aggressive team, and I remember that X
Yeah.
Factor. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying this as a dig, I'm more interested in has the style of play changed over the years, where aggressive play is not rewarded as much as uh, technique,
Tactical play.
tactical. Yeah.
Well, I would say a little bit of both. I mean, I think that our personnel, where we stand now, is a little bit different than it was. So I think our style has adapted a bit. I still
Hmm.
think we're probably, depending on the field and depending on if we've got our heads out of our asses or not, I still think we're one of the more aggressive teams. Um, but to your other point, yeah, I definitely think that now that it's such a short time period and there's a mercy rule and these types of things that are involved, it
Hmm.
makes it a lot more important every point, as opposed to
Yeah.
back in the day where it's like, dude, you're gonna bang
Just
out for fucking some halves, dude. You just throw it out there, dude.
yeah.
Rip every
Yeah.
50 on break, see what happens. I didn't work. Okay, we got 20 more points to play. No big
Yeah.
deal. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think the style of game now is very much like you see finals games that are 1 point games. Obviously, our last one was that way, and a lot of them are that way.
Golly, that was tense.
Quarterfinals to
Yeah.
semifinals are, 2-3 or 1-2, and it's like it's just because it's just so tight. The time limit's shorter, and
Hmm.
I don't know. And I just think people are a little bit more apt to play smart as opposed to taking a risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mean that to sound like X Factor's not aggressive. I think the
Oh
aggression is
no,
way more, I don't know, like calculated, I guess you would say.
yeah, it is.
Right, yeah.
It is for sure. Yeah, it's a different time. But I'll also attribute that to the fact that I think that like the pro teams now compared to the pro teams 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I think exponentially the teams are better now than they were. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
every year it's like the level of play has gone up. So, back when you maybe got away with a little bit more of the aggressive things, I mean, dudes don't miss shots now, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
people
yeah,
hit their shots and it's just like everybody's so good. I think that that's also dialed back, you know, and you see it progress through the tournament. Yeah, it's balls to the wall in the prelims. People are everywhere. It's like God, they're hitting 50s and boom, 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 all over the
yeah,
place, and it's in the finals, and it's like back five, 5 minute point, back five, 10 minute point. And it's like
yeah,
you see that through the tournament because everybody just gets so dialed in and
yeah,
understands the field and adapts so quick.
yeah. even like just what people talk about as far as like skills or things that they're working on, it is like so precision focused. Like I remember, I think Meter was talking about his first three shots are like he knows exactly where they'll go every single time. And I'm like, your first three, like it takes me like 10 shots to like bring that grouping in. Like
Right.
what? Like that is to know just like, and I'm sure everyone's like that at the pro level, but
I mean, you have to have first ball accuracy because the peripheral vision and the sense and just everything about a professional player. I mean, you miss a shot and it's over. Like that windows are like this. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You have
yeah,
very small, and that's the whole difference
it's
between when
so
you move
cool.
up from divisional to pro. It's not
Hmm.
that I'm going to go out there and I will out snap shoot you, but I won't out snap shoot you so bad that you'll never shoot me. You could win a snapshot battle with me. You could shoot me, definitely.
Yeah,
But when it starts getting into like the whole dynamic of the game, it's the decision making. Like I feel a window like that, and I got to go. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And if you think
Oh
about it,
man,
it's too late. You know what I mean? Like if
yeah,
you thought and haven't reacted, it's too late at that point. That window is closed,
yeah.
and
That's
that's where the
where
best players in the game are good.
that's where it gets like beautiful to watch. To see like
Right?
it's where you're not even responding. You are. I don't want to. I don't even know what it is.
It's
I don't want to say.
instinctual. It's
Yeah,
instinctual.
it's not even like anticipating. It's just
No,
this is how this is where I should be going, and now is the time to do it. So I'm going to do it.
right.
And it's like, I mean, yeah, it's cool to see that we're at that level. That you guys are at that level of
Yeah.
like, oh, this is what pros look like. Like it's getting to the point now where we can not everything, like the tiny little things, we won't see that, but stuff like
Right.
flow of the game and man, that's cool.
That's what it is. It's ebb and flow. It's
Hmm.
it's the ebb and flow of the game, and that's why these it's the same people playing forever because you get that innate sense of how the game feels, and it becomes less of like now when you're like in a 3-on-3 scenario and it's stalemated for a while, yes, then there's a lot of like gears turning and thinking of like how do I close this game. That does still
Hmm.
happen, but there's also a lot of things where it's just like you feel it and you go. You know what I mean? It's not so much like I'm thinking about it and I'm planning it. It's just
Hmm.
like your objective, kind of in the back of your mind, and then when that opportunity presents itself, you feel that little small window, and you just go.
Yeah,
It just becomes like a sixth sense almost out there. That's the
dude.
difference with the best pro players. You look at the guys that just seem to have the perfect timing. You're like, how do they always get away with that? Like, how does that happen? And it's because they
Hmm.
have this feeling and they just know it's the time to do
Dude, getting goosebumps. Like it's
it.
from a spectator, it's really cool to see that, and like to like you're great at it. I remember seeing that, like just like how did he? Why is he going this way? How did he know that's what's gonna happen? And just like
It's just a
trying to think of
feeling.
other players. J Rab's pretty good at it.
J
He,
Rab's good at it. Mouse
yeah.
is good at it.
Hmm. Archie, like
Um,
like
yep, Archie's good
um,
at it.
like all those upper echelon guys. Uh, all
Another
right.
another great one is for instance Marcelo's move at the
Oh,
tournament before
dude,
the last one where he
splitting the
runs. I
seam.
mean, like,
Yeah,
yeah, who even thinks about that? What I mean, you're looking out there
yeah,
watching it, and you're like, why the fuck would he even make that move?
yeah,
That's a terrible move, but it's just
yeah,
he saw the seam, he felt the timing, and he took the chance.
yeah.
Just
And who
experience,
runs the seam? Who runs
right?
the seam?
It's
Everyone's
just
gut
knowledge of the
reaction is
field
like,
and knowing.
yeah, that's yeah.
But the dead spots in the field. You know where the people are
Hmm.
positioned. You know where their guns are more than likely shooting. You know what I mean? And if you at least have the most information, you may not make the right move every time, but if you have as much information as possible and you can make some assumptions about if this guy's in this position and my guy's in this position, what would he realistically be doing? Because he's a
Yeah,
good player, realistically, he'd be looking this way, and you can start to figure out like where the moves are going to come from because you know what that guy's job historically is going to be in that position. You're like, if he's in
dude.
the snake corner and there's a guy in the snake and it's a ladder snake, I know he has to hold the wire because if he doesn't hold the wire, my guy's going to crawl down and shoot everybody on the side.
Hmm.
So maybe he's not going to be looking inside, and that opens up a seam for me up the middle. It's like
Yeah,
that kind of processing of information that's happening out there, and that's how
in
guys see these things
in milliseconds. Like
in
that's
millisecond.
yeah.
Yeah, it really is fast.
It's like
It's
that's
more crazy talking about it and thinking about it because it's just such an innate thing that I don't ever
hmm
think about it being impressive, but it really is. It really is impressive to know that people are making these
hmm
instantaneous decisions with, five guys shooting 10 balls a second at you. It's like a machine gun out there. Your bunker's blowing up, noise everywhere, guns shooting, and you're still taking a step back in a zen moment and being able to process this stuff and think about it with a million people yelling. You know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah, that's that's just next level. I'm interested. I'm really interested in the pros perspective of paintball outside of the box, outside of the pit. So I don't know if you guys spectate all
Explain.
that much, or
Oh, okay.
like I know you started refing. That one, I'm interested in that, but mostly I'm interested in like I'm just gonna say it. I feel like paintball can't get out of its own way in a sense, as far as marketing and that type of thing. I think a lot of great things are
Oh, for
happening.
sure.
I think NXL is doing great, but I went to Round Rock recently, and it was. I mean, when was that? April, March? It's April,
Yeah,
I
something like
think.
that.
And
April,
it
I think.
was
Yeah.
just like Texas heat. Like you're sitting under the sun, and like I'm just like, y'all don't want people to sit here and watch this. Like, why do we even have grandstands? Like, it's so hot, and we can barely see, and like, surely there's something else that could be done. Like, so
Surely there is. I don't know the answer to that.
yeah,
I will say that, in my opinion, paintball's boring to watch
yeah,
on video. You know what I mean? Like
hmm
it's like you go watch a match. So first of all, split deck is a atrocity. It's
hmm
terrible, especially from an uneducated spectator position, right?
yeah,
And even from an educated one, it's like, maybe you're watching us play Dynasty or us play Heat, and it's a great match, and it's toe to toe, and there's a lot of emotion involved, and it's a great game. And then you have like some other two teams playing, and it's a blowout, and it's just
hmm
boring as shit, and you don't care anything about it. So you watch our point, you're all jacked up, and then it's like, okay, let me sit here, and now I got to wait for this other game that I don't give a fuck about to
hmm
play. It's a terrible game. It's not exciting. I'm not vested in it at all. And then get amped up back in for somebody else to come. If you know what's going on in the game, it makes sense to you because you know split deck, you understand how paintball works. But someone that has no idea,
kind
they're
of,
like, what is
yeah,
going on here?
yeah,
What's happening? So I
yeah,
think that's one problem. Number two, I think that you know it, it just looks like this. You have
hmm
no idea what's going on. You're watching, and it's just guys doing this, and it's like,
yeah,
well, what is he shooting at? Who's he shooting at? You know,
yeah.
uh,
Put
they
the
have no way to
grandstands
keep
at
stats.
the grandstands should be at the end of the field, 100%.
I think that's a cooler perspective, yeah.
Like,
And I'm not talking about live. I think live paintball is pretty exciting to watch. I enjoy live spectating. I'm talking about from a bigger
oh,
picture video perspective.
video, yeah.
I think that live
That's
paintball is a lot of fun. I've
well,
invited a
yeah,
bunch of people that I know that never played and have nothing. They just know me, and I'm like, "Come watch a tournament," and
okay,
they're like, "Man, that's awesome!" They love it. And if I
okay,
tell somebody watch a video of it,
yeah, that's
they're like,
different for
"Oh yeah,
sure.
that's cool."
There
You know
is
what I mean?
different,
It's just
yeah.
not the same thing.
Being like being with those people, it's like going to see live music. Like it is different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's different, way different.
What do you think of charging everyone that walks through like it's like a festival or a carnival? Like you have to pay to get in. There's an entry fee for everyone. If you're a player and you're in the tournament, you have your wristband. But like everyone, not just for the grandstands, for everything. Everyone has to pay $5, $10, whatever. Like
I think if you have a marketable product, a proven product, then absolutely. But I think right now where it is, we can't even get people to come and watch for free. That's a problem.
yeah, yeah,
And I think coming back to like Huntington Beach was amazing for paintball in my opinion
hmm
because we're playing on the beach. There's giant free stands for people to come. There's thousands of people walking down the
yeah,
boardwalk,
and they're
just
clean too.
stopping in. They're like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But
I
they're
think
just like,
that's
"Oh,
another
what's
thing.
this? This is cool.
Yeah,
Let me sit here and watch some paintball." And it's like, "Oh, this is awesome." And then next thing you know, the entire stands are packed with people that have no idea what in the hell is going on, but they're enthralled and enticed by
hmm
watching this cool game.
yeah,
That's what we need.
yeah. I
Not to
think
be out in Podunk, Egypt, where it's woodlands all around us and no one
yeah,
knows what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
we need to be in the heart of something to where there is outside people that don't know anything about the game to be able to witness it live and see how cool it is. I
yeah,
think that's the key. And then once, like you said, once they have a marketable thing and it's well known and it's exciting and people are like, oh man, that's cool. I want to go watch that. Then yeah,
hmm
you could charge them to come in. But
yeah,
as it stands now, like how are you going to make somebody pay for something when, Like, are you going to be driving by something? You have no idea what it is. Let's say you go to, you drive by and there's a bicycle polo match going on, and you're
Yeah.
like, what the hell is bicycle polo? That sounds kind of cool. Maybe I'll check it
Yeah.
out. I ain't got nothing going on. You walk up and they're like, yeah, it's $10 to get in. And you're like, never mind, dude. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
But bicycle polo is actually very cool. I have
It
watched it.
sounds dope. Yeah, you said it. I was like, that sounds
Yeah,
really cool.
it was actually really cool. I saw
Yeah,
it I think it was Chicago. They were just playing in a park somewhere, but these guys on these, freaking 10-speed bikes playing
just going
polo. I
through
was
it.
like, it's actually fun.
This
Yeah, I
is
just sat there and
yeah,
watched it. I was like, this is cool.
nice.
I wouldn't have paid $10 to go into an unknown thing. I wouldn't break
Yeah,
an appointment for it, but now that I saw it, I was like, that's actually pretty cool. I'd watch it again.
yeah. Fair point. All right.
So I don't know the answer to that. I wish I did, but I think the answer is someone with big money that comes in that knows how to do sports production, that has an
Mhm.
ESPN type camera crew, that
Yeah.
that coordinates with our current, media and says, how do we do this properly? We have the equipment, you have the knowledge. Teach us how to do this. A
Mhm.
collaboration amongst that, but I think that historically throughout paintball, we've had too much of like the big brother club, and it's like we don't want any outsiders coming into what we have.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the case, but just from me being in the industry and feeling it, that's what it's felt like. And that's
Yeah.
complete assumption. I don't know that there's any factual basis to that, but just the feeling I get is that like we have control of this, we want control of this, and we're going to keep control of this at the
Yeah.
detriment of allowing somebody else to come in and tell us how we should be running our business.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the
That's
case.
I get that vibe. Yeah. That's what I meant
Right.
earlier. Like we can't get out of our own way. Like
Right. Exactly. And so
yeah.
I think that that's part of the problem. And then, it's just going to take a lot of money to really R&D and figure out what's going to work.
Mhm.
You need something like, do you remember when hockey used to have like the tracer on the
Oh
puck?
yeah. Yeah.
Something like that to see lanes overlaid on guys shooting on break or something, different color paint that when Clint shoots somebody, it breaks this color. So I know Clint got that kill. Then you can have
Yeah.
realistic stats,
That
multiple
seems
camera angles,
huge. Yeah.
barrel cameras on every player. And my idea was that you make it more like a video game stream. Like if you watch
Mhm.
a video game stream of Counter-Strike, for instance, if you're watching on HLTV is what you can watch it on. It's not a Twitch thing, but if you're watching it actually in the game client and Colt's playing against Clint, I can cycle through your point of view, my point of view, an overview, this
That would
angle,
be
that
yeah.
angle, and I can choose what I watch.
Yeah.
I want to watch Clint. Clint's my favorite player. I'm going to watch him play, and I'm on your barrel cam watching what you're doing. And then I
Yeah.
can switch over and see Colt play, and then I can see this guy play, and you can just manually control who you're watching and from what perspective. I think that would be super cool.
Dude, that yeah, absolutely. That sounds
But
expensive. I'm
again,
not gonna lie. But yeah,
exactly. Then
like
again, exactly. Money.
yeah, yeah. Okay, how about this? When you're watching and rewatching a game, what
Hmm.
point of view, what thing happens that you're like, man, I wish they showed this, whether it be like something, a conversation at the box, of something in the pit, or even like an angle that we're not seeing. What are we not seeing that you think we should see?
Well, you're not seeing simultaneous breakouts, first of all. Like my biggest
That's a
pet peeve
hard
is when we
one.
go to scout games.
Yeah,
Maybe, but I'm going to scout a game and we're playing your team and you're playing another team, and next thing you know, every freaking breakout, it's the opposite team breaking out. So I don't have any idea where you guys go. So from
yeah.
from a scouting perspective, I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I can't see where Clinton is going on break any point here
Yeah,
because it's always showcasing the other team. That's a problem for me.
yeah. I think
Um,
that's an easy
Dorito
one.
side cameras,
Yeah. Oh, please, God, all the
Dorito side camera, you can't see
like
shit. You
people
you just
don't
can't see
know
shit.
how fast LJ Parrish is. Like the pros do, but LJ
Yeah, but you
Parrish
can't see
was
him.
just he freakishly fast.
Yeah,
but
he's quick and he's small. He's hard to hit.
and like I think Dorito players, by the nature of the bunkers and where they're at, I think they have to exhibit. I'm not saying they are more. I think they have to exhibit more technical mastery than other players on the field.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
So I think it's weird that they don't like that they don't have cameras on
But all
both
the
sides. First off, like
right,
why not?
the train wrecks happen on the snake side though. So,
Yeah.
and another thing is that the snake is lower, so it's
Hmm.
easier to shoot.
I get
So,
that. Yeah. Like I understand
You know,
those things, like why that doesn't happen, but they could have. I think they could have cameras on the Dorito side also,
I agree.
and
And I think the
the
boom
drone
cam was
shot.
super cool.
Oh, that was yeah. I don't know.
Boom cam's cool. Yeah,
Um,
but you have multiple of those. Like there's things to do. I just think that it's become too much of a financial burden.
it's got to be yeah.
That's
Like
what it is. You have
because
no money coming in, and you're putting all this money into extra camera operators, extra camera
mhm,
equipment, extra editing, production staff. I mean,
yeah,
it could be
and
done right, but it's just gonna take a fuck ton of money.
yeah, yeah. To get back, like again, people for the most part are good, and I think the people in charge of
Right.
Go Sports are they're they're trying to put out a great product, and they do put out a great
Absolutely,
product.
for sure.
But just yeah,
Agreed.
there's things that go on.
Yeah, yeah, and no, and I'm not knocking what they do or try to do at all. I think they do a great job with what they have. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And that's
yeah,
like that's the caveat. It's like, here's your budget, here's what you got to work with. Make
yeah,
silk out of a sow's ear. You know what I mean? And they do a pretty damn good job at doing that, which is impressive. But
yeah,
I'm just speaking from a like, if we want to take this mainstream and make it a main attraction, it has that's what has to be done. As
yeah.
it stands right now, it's not a sustainable money making model for anybody.
No, yeah,
You know, as far
it's
as
ridiculous.
production and videos
Yeah, or just playing, being like
or
what?
attendance or yeah, there's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you know what I mean.
It's
Like
a weird
I
thing
don't
that it
I
exists, to
can't
be
live off of
honest.
it.
Yeah,
I've never lived off paintball. I've had a career my entire
I
time
think
I've played paintball.
maybe not at what you want. I think you could live off of. I think I'm. I
I
don't want to
could,
speak
but I'd
for
be
you.
hustling clinics. I'd be
Yeah,
hustling
yeah,
selling jerseys, selling gun. You know, what I mean, I would have to be doing a ton of hustling to make a modest living, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally, I get
I
that.
think that if I really tried, I could probably pull in 50, 60K a year. But that would involve me doing clinics as often as I can,
Oh
selling jerseys. I don't
no.
think you can make any more than that, personally.
Oh, maybe I'm
Me,
just
I don't think so.
okay. I think from numbers I've heard, maybe I just have the outside perspective. I think other teams would
Well,
offer at least that to get you the high money teams. So
I mean,
yeah.
the money that I have been offered is not life changing to me. Could I make
Oh
money going and playing an additional 30, 40 grand in my pocket or something?
yeah,
Probably. But that doesn't change
yeah.
my life in any way. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, yeah,
It doesn't put me in a better position in my life. And so it would require me leaving the team that I play for. It would require me traveling for practice all the time. I practice in my backyard. I'm 40 minutes away. I play
yeah,
with the guys I played with all my life.
yeah.
I'm a core member of the team. I'm the captain of the team. Like
hmm
it
I
just
think
doesn't make sense.
I think that like that just that's like full circle of what you said before. Of like you don't let like the decisions you make aren't based off other. How do I say this? What were we saying earlier? Like they're not based off you comparing yourself to other people.
Right.
So like
Absolutely.
you're a made guy,
Yeah.
like I think that's part of also why you're so much fun to watch. Like there's a sincerity and a genuineness that comes off of you when you're playing. So I
I appreciate that.
more power to you, man. All right.
Because
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying that's I try to be as genuine as possible in every
Yeah.
interaction I have with people, in the way I play, in the way I conduct business. I mean, I try to be as genuine and honest and sincere as I can be. And I'm glad that you see that, because that's what I try to portray and that's what I want to be seen as. So I'm glad that it translates properly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. I've taken a lot of your time. I have one weird,
That's okay.
odd question from a deep dive,
Do
and
it.
then I'll let you go.
Let's do
Uh,
it.
I read somewhere that you were really interested in ancient civilizations, and I don't know if
I'm
that's
interested in
still a
a
thing.
lot of things.
Okay.
I'm interested in a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, okay, go ahead, go with your question.
So my question is, if you had to like, if you were forced to time travel and be part of one of these civilizations, one of the ancient ones, which one would it be?
Oh, easily ancient Egypt for sure.
Yeah.
Just because, there is so much like mystery surrounding a lot of the things that they did that we can't explain to this day.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, just something as simple as, the pyramids of Giza aligning with Orion's belt perfectly.
Yeah. what the
how in the hell? Just that simple aspect, much less building the damn things, or like some of the shit like Machu Picchu, or some of
Mhm.
the just crazy architecture and precision building that was done, and the astronomy knowledge that they had, that like we're thinking these people barely had the wheel, and these
Yeah,
fuckers are doing some insane shit. Where did that come from? You know what I mean? That just makes my mind
yeah. Where did it
either
go is
think
the real
that,
question.
yeah,
Yeah.
where did it go? Right. So, or where did it come from? And
Yeah.
where did it go? There's two questions there. Like,
Yeah.
so number one, did we have a revert in society? Was there a reset where it's like mass catastrophe,
Mhm.
everything's wiped off the planet? Like for instance, right now, there'll be a time here soon, because books are a thing of the past, right? People
Mhm.
don't buy books anymore. Written history is starting to dwindle, and everything's going to technology and electronic history. There will be a time where everything gets wiped.
Yeah.
And what happens if all the knowledge that we have that's stored on these electronic devices gets wiped? Even the simplest
It's so
things
difficult to
become
fear.
very difficult to do. The
Yeah.
simplest things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the
You
simplest
know how
shit
to
that we
start a
take for
fire
granted
without a
every day.
lighter? Yeah, like
Exactly.
it's
Just the simplest shit. Like you couldn't go out there and just go make a fire. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
very few people have these kind of skills,
Or like
and they're
we have
lost
all
in
these
time.
cars, but does anyone like who really knows how to get oil and turn it into petroleum? Like
Right. Right. Or how can you fix a computer chip on all these computerized cars now that you have to have some sort of chip? It's not a carburetor, it's a fuel injector. Like,
yeah.
so, it's just interesting to think that maybe that's what happened and we had such technological advancements. Or then we can really deep dive and say, was there external forces in play?
Oh
Was there
yeah.
somebody that was perhaps giving knowledge and cultivating, giving
Yeah.
culture, giving religion, giving these types of things that, I'm very much an ancient astronaut kind of like theorist guy. Like that stuff just
Ooh.
really, to me, makes sense that, you know, I do believe in a higher power of some sort. I'm not a religious man. I do believe in a higher power of some sort. I believe that something bigger than
Yeah.
us has created all this. But I also think that a lot of religion could have been derived from external visitors to the planet that may
Mhm.
have seen a bunch of apes running around and saying, "Hey, these guys are at the next step of evolution. They're kind of
Mhm.
figuring it out. Let's inject some good culture and
Yeah.
guidelines to live life. Thou
Mhm.
shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, these types of things,
Yeah.
and kind of mold them." And what would we think of something coming down from the heavens in a chariot of fire?
Yeah.
That very easily
Yeah.
could be a spaceship of some sort, very easily. And you would think that's a god, that's an angel, that's a
Mhm.
whatever it is, and it's coming from the heavens. You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah.
maybe it's just an advanced civilization that has air travel that we don't understand and have no way to put anything on it other than we have chariots and it looks like it's on fire. It's a chariot of fire coming from the sky. But
Yeah.
really, it's just a spaceship of some sort,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's yeah. Those are fun
And
rabbit
just
holes to go down for
oh
sure.
yeah, you can go down there for days. But to me, that kind of makes sense, and I think that that's a possibility of how we got some of the stuff that we got is through outside intervention, and some of the technological advances may have been guided in a sense.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not.
All right. I
Maybe
like
there
that.
is no God and we're just spinning around and we came from a puddle of ooze and a bunch of chemicals that combined,
Yeah.
which I can't buy, but some people do.
That's yeah. I don't. It's not as much fun to think about it like that personally. Like
I can't make sense of it because I'm always like the chicken or the egg thing. It's like I can never answer that question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Well,
yeah.
how does a bunch of chemicals even get there to begin with? If that primordial ooze is what formed all of life, where did those chemicals come from? Well, they
Yeah.
just existed. I, I just don't think the human mind can comprehend
I think that's a
the
huge
origin story.
like
You
that's a
know?
huge level of like you just at some point we all sort of maybe not all of us but people hit that acceptance of like well I've
Right.
reached my peak. I'm not gonna
Right.
understand
Yeah. I'm
anything
just
after
not
this.
smart enough.
Yeah.
Yep. Just not. So I'll just,
Oh man.
do the best I can and live the best life I can and be a good person as best as I can. And I think that's the best you can do.
Words to live by
We'll see.
Colt Roberts. Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
All right.
man.
What's your ancient civilization? I need to hear your answer now.
Ooh, I don't know enough. I enjoy the Aztecs and the Mayans. I think
That's another great one.
yeah, I think
So
just
that would be my second one.
mostly geographically. Like I know Egypt was
Oh,
a
okay.
lot different back then, but like
Yeah. I'm
I'm
not
pretty
interested in the
sure the
geography of
Mayan
Egypt either.
geography wasn't much different then than it is now as far as like what type of
Right.
plants were there, their bywater,
Right.
and that type of stuff. Like
Right.
I like green things, and seems like it wouldn't be as
Al-
miserable.
also pyramids, and also
Hmm.
very interesting technological advances that they had.
Yeah.
Something interesting about the Mayans. So there's this thing called the ball court in oh man, Chichen Itza. And so what it is this like there's these two giant brick walls that run down this court, and on each side of the court there's this round circular
Hmm.
hoop that they have to throw a ball or hit or kick a ball
They
through.
hit it with their hip.
Yeah, with their hip or their feet or something. Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
don't know exactly how the game will play.
I've seen this. Yeah.
But the weirdest thing is that, and I've been here, the acoustics in this thing, you can speak in a speaking voice from one end to the other and hear what people are saying because of the way
Oh,
that the wall. It's super weird.
that's
Like,
cool.
how's that happen? You know what I mean? Like, how does this
That's
precise engineering happen? And then also the major temple in Chichen Itza, the major pyramid, during I think it's the summer solstice, creates a snake-like pattern down the side of the temple, and it only happens on the longest summer day. It creates this perfect. The sun hits through something, and it creates this image, which is
what?
also bizarre, dude, because it has to be
Oh, dude.
positioned perfectly with the solstice. Like, that's just weird, dude.
Humans are pretty
That's weird.
incredible. Like, even if they had
They
help,
are, but
like that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, humans are very adaptable, very
Yeah.
cool. But it just I can't understand how they could make these kind of calculations with such a rudimentary, what we think is a rudimentary system of science and things. Like, how
Yeah.
do you start aligning celestially and understanding the summer solstice and to build something so precise without any type of surveying equipment? Like, what?
Yeah. Like,
Nutty.
yeah. I don't get it.
But I agree with you. Mayans would be my second one, so I'm with you. That's a good choice.
Nice. Right on.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much.
Well, we
I
went a little
appreciate
longer.
it. It's all good.
Yeah, of course. We'll see what you can edit and cut down, see what's interesting. You'll have to watch it
Yeah.
back and see.
That's it for today, folks. You can see more of my artwork on this channel, or you can head over to my Instagram, @RiddlesArt, and check out more images, stories, and videos. And if you like this video and are interested in getting more access to zines, art, and even a blossoming Discord, go check out my Patreon linked in the bio. There you can support more of my projects at 4 different levels. I've got the field paint level, I've got Marbleizer level, premium gold, and the all-star level. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you all got to know Colt a little bit better. I hope you found some joy in all of this. And I want to thank Colt Roberts himself for being such a generous dude, for sacrificing so much of his time, and for all of his support. I'd also like to thank John and Reese. Your patronage means more than you know. Much love, y'all. Have a great day. I forgot. Check out the jersey. That's a dope jersey. This is the jersey Colt gave me. Colt 45 to zigzag.